It goes without saying that customers want to win. However, today's show and race industries cannot survive with a win at all costs mentality. Our next speakers, Russell Harris and Stephanie Lynn, will discuss owners' demands while doing right by the horse. First, I'd like to invite Russell Harris to the podium. Russell was the first racehorse trainer to be appointed as an AQHA director. He has held a lot of positions over the years and sat on the board of Texas Quarter Horse Association and Pacific Coast Quarter Horse Racing Association, as well as the AQHA. Russell served on the AQHA Racing Council for 4 terms. He's received numerous awards, including the Gordon Crone Award for Special Achievement by a Trainer. Russell is a hands-on trainer. He enjoys the horses and loves being at the barn. He keeps his stable small enough to manage so that he can give personal attention to each and every individual horse. So let's welcome Russell Harris.
Thank you. After Jim's presentation and him being with A&M and me being with the University of Alabama, I can see why they beat us in football this year. The animal welfare, a balance to win under pressure and any conditions is really tough in our industry. Our industry is not through somebody's opinion of how you look or how you perform. It's strictly at the wire. It's with a photo, and it's really demanding. The owner pressure, the penalties now that they pressure trainers with, they're getting severe about it, which they should be. I really look forward to that. And the obligation to the horse. There's a lot of pressure for trainers and owners to win. It's real competitive, and it's not the monetary is not a lot of times as much as the ego part of it. I mean, you take a lot of pride in winning, and it's a lot of fun getting in that winner's circle. And me as a racehorse trainer, I compare myself as like being a college football coach. We take care of athletes. We make sure that the athletes have the right nutrition, their fitness is fit enough to run, and their health, they're very healthy and mentally healthy. They got to be mentally healthy. And the owners and the trainers love to win races. The owners, to me, are almost like the alumni of a college. They're very demanding. They got a lot of say-so in what goes on, and so be it. But you can be a coach, and no different than a racehorse trainer, and win 2 national championships in football, and go 2 years and have a losing season, and your job's in jeopardy. You'll be gone. You've got to perform. What you did yesterday don't count. And also that goes along with that, if you've had a good season the year before, when you come to the sales in the fall, you can recruit. It's easy to recruit when you have one that's a world champion or you've won one of the major fraternities. It's easy to go pick up owners, and it's easy to pick up good horses at sale. But if you had some bad seasons, they'll oversee you and they'll go to the hot trainers right then. And it's the same way with a football coach. The better their team does, the better he can recruit those athletes from all over. And there's a lot of owners that want to win, owners and trainers that want to win at any cost. And over the last 2-3 years, I've watched in the stable areas as horses have left one barn and be led to another. And when you see them going over there, most of the time it's going to a hot trainer, and most of the reasons is the guys on the backside knows what's going on. The guy that's hot and doing good, a lot of times it's because they're taking advantage with illegal medication. And it's a simple fact that owners like to win, and not that trainers don't, but owners can make it real tough on you. And the trainers like to run. A lot of the trainers, they don't know any different than trying to take an unfair advantage to win races. There are a lot of good trainers. There are a lot of good horsemen and trainers that take a lot of pride in what they do, and they love their horses, and they love going to the barn every morning. The best trainers I ever knew liked going to the barn in the morning rather than they did go to the races and watch their horses run. They felt like they had more hands-on, they had a lot more control, and I was very fortunate to come up around guys like Blaine Swanevelt and Wayne Lucas and Jack Brooks and Bubba Cascio and all of them. They were all hands-on guys, and they knew how to take care of a horse. And the atmosphere has changed a lot. A lot of it now is they want to do a lot of things just with the medication part of it, because it's a lot easier than icing and bandaging and hand walking. And to be truthful, a lot of them don't know anything about that. And the penalties that are coming up are really good. The states set the penalties in their own state commissions, and they've gotten tougher and tougher about it. They're starting to really get after them. In fact, the state of New Mexico just allocated $700,000 more for this upcoming year for more and stronger testing and out-of-competition testing. And out-of-competition testing is real important. I guess all of you hear of Lance Armstrong and his problems he's had. Well, he'll tell you right now, he said they'll never stop any of that unless they have out-of-competition testing. These guys have got it down to a zero. They know exactly when to back off, when to quit, how close, and they know all of those. And the racetracks are doing a good job with their penalties. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar, but there's tracks like Remington Park and Ruidoso and Los Alamitos, and I guess Dr. Allwood has to be commended on this. He was the first one to start it. But if those trainers have a bad test and it's pending, and they've been ruled on, but it's pending, it's got to go to court or something like that, they are not allowed stalls till that thing's been resolved. And that could drag on for years. So you can see the hardship it's going to put on them people, but that's what it's going to take to stop it. And I certainly commend the racetracks. And on the other hand, the AQHA, with what they've imposed this year on not letting the horses that are in the care of those trainers gain points, and their money's not counted to that owner's horse, I commend them with it. It puts a lot of pressure on the owners to not use those trainers that are using illegal drugs and being inhumane to their horses. And let's see here. They're doing super. And a couple things I'd like to end on. One of them is a lot of the owners complain about the vet bills. And the vet bills have gotten higher over the years and all, but there's two things about that. One of the reasons our vet bills have gotten so high is the trainers are trying to do anything they can to cover their paces to where that they feel like they can get close to competing to those guys that are running on illegal drugs. And there's no way that we can go up there half primed and not do everything we can do legal and compete with those people that are using the drugs. There's just no way you can do it. And as far as the veterinarians are taking a lot of blame that I don't think they should be taking on it, 99% of them are not using any of these things. And when you have a high vet bill, being as an owner and all, go see your trainer. He's the one that asked for it. The veterinarian didn't come in there and just start giving injections or vitamins or whatever he's doing. The trainer requested it. So if you have a problem with a vet bill, go see your trainer. Get on to him about it. And if you have good communication with your trainer, y'all can discuss what you want to use and what you don't want to use and how far you want to go. And but the main thing is have a good rapport with your trainer and talk to him. And the last thing is how different trainers handle pressure. I have a good friend of mine, which most of y'all know. I'm not going to bring his name up, but a few of them know who he is. He was a trainer in California, and he won a stakes race one night with a mare and really ran a big race. And he was proud. He was walking around there. He was proud of himself. He was proud of his horse. Everything was great. Well, he come down about 3 weeks later, and he ran the filly again in another stakes race, and she run 6th. Run a terrible race. He comes down to my barn the next morning and he said, "Russell, you run a lot of them horses and all that all the time. How does that affect you? What do you do when you go home after they've run a bad race like that?" I said, "Well, I usually go home and I sit down on my big chair and I have me a couple good stiff drinks, relax a minute and think what I'm going to do tomorrow." And he says, "You know what I did?" And I said, "No, what'd you do?" He said, "I stopped by the store on the way home. I got me a half a gallon of milk and a bunch of Oreo cookies. I fixed that mare." Thank y'all very much.
I know many of you are familiar with the Youth Racing Challenge, and every time we have it, and Russell's always willing to take a kid and help that program out. So Russell, thank you very much. Our next speaker, Stephanie Lynn. Stephanie has been a professional horseman for 35 years, making her living training 35 years, is that, when did you start, 12? Showing, coaching, and judging American Quarter Horses. Stephanie is an AQHA judge. She's an AQHA steward and currently serves on the Animal Welfare Commission. She's been a member of AQHA's Association of Professional Horsemen since its inception and has served on the committee for 20 years. She currently serves as the chair of Professional Horseman Council. Stephanie.
Thank you, Ward. I have to first say that I am definitely not a great speaker, nor am I a speech writer. I've had lots of time to think about this and have had lots of thoughts and written lots of things. And yesterday when I was on my way here, sat next to a gentleman on the plane and led me to think that he's involved in education and associations in the equine industry that educate people and horses. And it led me to remember that there was a time when AQHA was not only the leader in the stock horse breed as a breed association, but our members and our trainers were leaders in the field of educating. And they were good educators. They taught horses and they taught people how to be horsemen. Today's trainers have been raised under a different rule. They've been raised in the show ring rather than in the barn. The students that they teach have much less time. They take ballet lessons and have soccer games. They're competing for many other sports, so the trainers are under pressure to make those kids win, to make the horses win. They live in a vicious cycle. They're under tremendous pressure to have the horses win. They're under pressure to get horses to the show pen. And because we've been working in this climate where showing seems to be the end all, they hurry their horses. They hurry their riders. I grew up in an age where bump meant a lump on the horse's side. They had a bug bite or a swelling. Now, bump is a technique children learn to use to get their horse's head down. We've lost the, I don't mean to say will, but we've somehow lost the desire to allow our horses to have expression. Instead, we are punished for horses having expression or having a natural equine reaction in the show pen. Horse trainers who want to train their horses with expression and want to train the horses with freedom and more natural flowing gait and more freedom of natural expression are then punished when they do get to the show pen because they don't fit into that robotic form that Dr. Hurd talked about. So then the trainer looks at themselves and says, well, gee, who's the dumb one here? I've been getting up at 4 o'clock every morning, and I'm amongst maybe 5 that are up at 5 riding and schooling my horses, and these other guys show up at 8 o'clock, and they don't have dark circles under their eyes, they got plenty of rest, and they come to the horse show, and they go in the show pen, and they beat us. Well, they're apparently doing something that we're not doing, and so it does make the horse trainer's job a little bit harder. And they feel like there's a bit of a double standard with the other areas. The actual horsemanship, Western pleasure, hunter under saddle horses are usually slick-haired and short-maned. They feel that they're under a higher scrutiny than maybe the reiners. If the horse has a long mane and back girth on, they feel like those horses are under less scrutiny than they are. So the horse trainers in the show horse industry also feel very picked upon. In my opinion, you know, some of that is for good reason. We have allowed this to happen. As Jim said, it was in small steps, 1 step at a time. And now we have a whole group of young riders who, before they learn why they should have a bend in their ankle and should have their heel down, have learned how to bump the horse's head or have been told to knock the horse's head down. Those are not terms or things that people want to hear. When you bring somebody new to the horse show, to our horse shows, they start out loving their horses, and they want to continue that relationship. This is an industry about relationships. We all started because we had a strong relationship with that horse, and that horse gave more to us than we've ever given to it. And we are not making ourselves adhere to that. I feel like I have tried to be a good steward to the horses, and all of us need to keep that in the forefront of their mind. Whether we choose to look at our drug laws, or drug rules, and take a look at them and say, well, should we allow more drugs? Should we allow less drugs? I think that there are questions out there that really need some serious looking into and answers, and people need to dig deep and really ask, does that horse really need to go to the horse show? Are we setting our clients up for these high expectations, and then we in turn put such pressure on ourselves that we can't fulfill it? So we end up putting the horse on the lunge line for 2 hours, then they're sore, then we go to the vet tent and we give them a little something and we block the pain in their leg, and then they feel good, and then they're too fresh, and then we go back to the vet tent and you say, well, is there anything we can give them to, you know, kind of make them a little more quiet? So we just fall into this continual trap. We need to, I believe, take a longer vision. We need to look at what is always best for the horse and what is best in the long run for your clients. Your clients may be with you for a short time, they may be with you forever. I've been fortunate enough to raise some wonderful children, none of them my own. I am so proud to see them go into society, have wonderful husbands, and be starting their own families and be bringing those families into horses. That is what our job is. We are stewards of the horses and of the people that come into contact with these horses. I think that it is time to take action. Trainers, we have to, each and every one of us, ask ourselves if we can defend what we're doing to that horse to the general public. If I'm asked by somebody who doesn't know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, can I, in good faith, with a clear conscience, defend what I'm doing? We have to ask ourselves that every day, not just at the horse show, but at home. If that horse isn't ready to go to the horse show, set a different goal. If the child isn't ready to go to the horse show, set a different goal. This is an experience and a journey, and it should be the most wonderful thing for everybody as long as they do it. And we hope to encourage people to stay in it and to want to breed and want to experience every aspect of it. We all started with that connection with the horse, and I hope that we can all get back to the reason that we started in this industry, whether it's in racing, veterinary care. We all started because we loved this animal, and we have not provided a forum, a place for individuals who want to love their horses to continue to come and show and learn. And that's really all I hope that we can accomplish from coming together as a group. There's a lot of extremely intelligent people here and very, very talented trainers. So I hope that you will all ask yourselves that if you can defend your position and what you're doing with your horse when you're doing it.